It's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop in Charlton, Massachusetts. We're outdoors today. It's beautiful. It's like 70 degrees or so. It's 7:30 at night. And Mark is back, so I'm not working with my phone. We got the camera going. We've got to do a video on more rust removal. I want to show you just a little bit of rust removal. And this is I think a Mark 7 or maybe a Mark 9 rear quarter. I bought out a body shop and they had stored a lot of parts for 30, 40 years down the basement. So this is a brand new old stock quarter panel, stamped in England. I think Press Steel makes these panels. And it's got 40 years of humidity rust on it. So a lot of people would take this and bring it to the sandblaster, and depending on the sandblaster, this has a lot of crown in it, so it might be able to live through a sandblaster's torture, but a lot of sandblasters would find a way to really make this panel all kinds of wavy and everything. So one of the other ways of doing it is to use chemicals, and we've been telling you about Rust 911, and you can spray this with Rust 911. We're going to show you some results of Rust 911 on this Caddy chassis we did that are just absolutely amazing. But the faster way is to use acids, and we've been using on a regular basis this acid here, which is phosphoric acid. It's watered down and everything. It's not super strong. You don't want to get it in your eyes or cuts or anything. You got to flush it out real fast. It's cheap. It's like 18, it's probably $20 a gallon because everything's going up right now. Buy it at Home Depot. You probably can buy it at any type of hardware store, Menards or any of the chains, Lowe's or whatever. I'm sure they have it. It's done, Clean Strip is the manufacturer of it. And then also from Clean Strip, much stronger, is muriatic acid. And this will do some damage to you. It goes in the air and it'll get into your lungs. You should wear a mask, you should wear gloves, you should have a sink or a faucet really close so you can flush yourself with water to if you splash this on you or whatever. But it's very easy to use this stuff. You do a little bit at a time, and this will do it. We can try. We'll try a spot here with the phosphoric, and we'll try a spot here with the muriatic. So what I like to do is I want to soak it. So I take paper towels. These are industrial paper towels I buy. You can just use regular paper towels though. You put a batch of them like that on there, and that'll allow it to stay put. Now these benches are actually lab benches. They're acid-proof benches, so it doesn't hurt them at all. They're made with concrete mixed with epoxy. Really tough, nice lab benches. So we periodically get acid on these and you just rinse it off, no problem. So we're going to put the phosphoric, which is the weaker one, over here, and we can spray that on. Probably I'll dump it on there. And I want to get my gloves on. Generally I don't wear gloves. I'll just hose myself off if I get it on my hands. I'll put the gloves on if they fit. So we're just going to dump it on the paper towel here, and that'll hold most of it in place. It'll run. That'll keep it nice and wet. All right, so there's the phosphoric. And phosphoric doesn't give that many fumes off. It's the muriatic that really sends the fumes up. If you use the muriatic in your shop, it'll go into the atmosphere and kind of rust everything. So you got to be very careful with the muriatic. We got a nice breeze here, so it's blowing any fumes away. So we got two competing rust removers. Let's throw another one in. We'll throw a little Naval Jelly over here. Naval Jelly is a gelled phosphoric. So put that there. Keep it nice and thick like this. You can put plastic over this too. Plastic over the Naval Jelly, plastic over that. And we'll see how fast this works. All right, while this is doing its magic, let's take a look in the shop and you'll see, you probably did a search on how to remove rust. We did a couple of rust removal videos before and they were very popular, but they have no idea what happens at Pro Shaper workshops. I want to show you a little quick shot of the shop showing what we do. Let's come on inside and check it out. This is Jason from Marlboro. He won my 10-day apprenticeship contest that I have on YouTube. He was one of the winners. I gave 7 apprenticeship contests away. And he started on this little Volkswagen, which was wire formed like 3 years ago. And he's made just about every single panel on that. And he's fitting all these joints up. These all have nice flanges and everything. And he's done a really good job. And you got a few words you can say, Jason, about it?
Oh yeah, I've enjoyed the project a lot. Learned a lot. It's been really enjoyable. It's nice to see it come together. I think we're pretty close.
Yeah, maybe, we're getting really close. Yeah. And he's really learned the skills of tuning all of these little flanges so they come together and look really nice. And it's just an amazing job. And it just, every time he comes in, it gets a little bit better. So he's still got the back motor lid to have a flange on that. We have the rocker panel actually. He's working on these side panels right now, fitting those up really nice with the hood and fitting this cowl panel. It's just, he can't do a better job. And he was a total beginner before he came here. So let's see what Ed's doing. This is Ed's Alfa Romeo that he designed himself. And we're using my flexible shape pattern system. If you want to see some other cool videos in my archive on my homepage at YouTube, it'll show you how to make these flexible shape patterns. That's what I teach. Ed has made these flexible shape patterns, and from the flexible shape patterns, he's made the front fender now that Ed is making. And it's got this nice little vent feature that he's been working on, all these little details. We welded the 2 sections together here, and there's 2 sections here. Really complicated reverse curves and everything. He's doing a really nice job. And then one other thing we want to show you is a Maserati 300S. We've done the wire form about 4 years ago. And we had 4 different students. 2 of them were only working for 2 days on it. And the other 2 students were from Canada. They worked really, really well together. And they had very little, minimal English wheel experience before coming to my class. The other 2 guys had 0 English wheel experience. And they were able to make this Maserati nose section in 9 days for one student, Keith, and 10 days for the other student, Roland. And they just did a spectacular job. Let's go back to the rust removal. All right, we've had about 5 minutes with the acid on here. And let's take this phosphoric off first. And let me get a plastic bag and we'll throw it in the plastic bag. Here's the reveal for the phosphoric. See if that did anything yet. Let's throw that in there for a minute. It's loosening up the rust. But are we getting down to the metal yet? Now the rust is sitting on top of the metal. All right, so the phosphoric doesn't look like it really bit into the metal enough. Let's see, we'll give it a little clean phosphoric there. It might take a couple applications. There's a little evidence of some silver coming through right here. You can see it. And this isn't doing any damage at all to the metal. This is all on top of the metal. All right, we'll take the paper towel to that. All right, you can see the phosphoric is biting it off. 2 or 3 applications and you get it off with the phosphoric. Phosphoric works really good for rust that hasn't been on there for 30, 40 years. This stuff has been on there for like 40 years. Now we'll take the Muriatic, put that over there, clean. Look at that. That Muriatic's got a bite. So it'll take a couple applications of the Muriatic. Now, wipe that clean and you can see how much it removed. Look at that. There's that original perfect metal underneath there. There'll be some micro rust spotting, like little tiny microscopic cavities that the rust is still in, but it'll pull that right out. It's not a problem. It'll get that right off of it. Now let's go over to the Naval Jelly. This has all been on only for like 5 minutes. We'll try the Naval Jelly, see if we can get any metal to show. The Naval Jelly will work really good, but it's a little slower. There's one little spot. It's just starting to show. Little rubbing. Paper towel. And there's the results from the Naval Jelly. You can see the silver starting to show there. So the winner here between phosphoric, Muriatic, and Naval Jelly. Muriatic by far, and these are very inexpensive. The Naval Jelly, I think probably like less than 10 bucks for a 16-ounce bottle. These are like a gallon for 20 bucks, or 23 maybe, 20 bucks for a gallon. So super inexpensive. That'll do a lot of your panel work. Now, the problem is not so much with the phosphoric, but you have to rinse this really good with water and dry it really fast. It's going to flash rust on you, but that's a different type of rust altogether. So what I usually do is I'll use now the Muriatic if I want to get it off fast, and then I'll follow it up with the phosphoric, hose it off really good, and if you want it not to come back, you have to mix up some baking soda, and that will neutralize all the acid. And you mix it up with water and you put that on and you cover the whole thing and wash it in with either with a steel wool or Scotch-Brite. Now we didn't do that. We did this Alpha fender. We got an Alpha GTV fender. This was as bad or worse than that fender, and it didn't get totally rinsed off or neutralized. You can see on the inside, this has been like a couple weeks ago I did this and cleaned it all off, and now it's turned back right into a horror show with all that surface rust showing up again. But I think this will come, this is really easy, it'll come off on the with the phosphoric. So this wasn't neutralized properly, and we'll have to do it twice because of that. This should come off pretty easy, I think. Yeah, we might have to use the Muriatic on it again. So that's the danger to Muriatic. I mean, you have to do this outside, so it's got to be warm. No, it didn't even bite into it yet. So the Muriatic will wipe that right out real easy. So we got this fender and this fender to hit with Muriatic, and then we'll neutralize them and we'll be in really good shape. Now another product which I've been telling you about is Rust 911. Now Rust 911 is a totally different thing. There's no acid in it, and you don't have to worry about it reflashing or anything else. And I think you probably saw one of the videos I did earlier on the Cadillac frame. It's a 52 Cadillac convertible that we have here, and we're going to show you the results of what we did with that frame. So we wanted to get the entire underneath chassis of this 52 Caddy, and we made this sloping platform with plastic on it. We've got it all encased in plastic, and we have sprayer heads in there, and we've sprayed that and sprayed that and sprayed that. Now, if you did this all in a linear fashion, you probably could de-rust the whole thing in, I would guess, maybe a month's time or so. And what we did was we sprayed for a couple days, and then we let it sit for a month, and then we sprayed for a couple days, and we let it sit for a month, and so almost a year has gone by or so, or 8 months or something like that, I don't know. And now it's pretty much done. There's like 98% done. There's a few little spots where it was really heavily rusted that if you focus the stream on it, you're going to get all those little spots too. We might still pick up those spots. Now, Rust 911, you can find it at rust911.com, or it's in my Amazon store also. All the links are right at all my videos. You can buy a gallon on my Amazon store and try it out. And we buy these little pumps from either Home Depot or Harbor Freight and hoses. And we buy sprayer heads that are used for lawn sprinklers. I'll show you that. So first we're going to dismantle this, and I'll show you the little details, and then we'll show you underneath the car. All right, here's the little sprayer heads we found at Home Depot. It's all Chinese manufactured. Then we found these nice little magnets at Harbor Freight, and we make this little bracket up and put it in place and focus it right on where it's really rusty. We got 2 of them there, and then I guess another 2 over here held on with bungee cord. So we'll get that all removed. All right, this 52 Cadillac was up in Holden, Mass. Has been sitting in a garage, dirt floor garage, since 1965. The door was open because the bumper, the front bumper, was backed into the garage. The front bumper, the big bumperettes on it, the garage door wouldn't close. So that means all the humidity came in. This thing was an absolute mess. And, you know, the choices are you dismantle the car entirely, every single nut and bolt, and you pull it all apart, and then you have to drag it to a sandblaster, and he's going to sandblast everything, and you're going to come back, and you're going to blow all the sand out, and then you're going to reassemble it. We're not going to have to do that. We have a few little rust outs. We've got to fix them. We can fix them right here on the lift. We'll fix them from both the top and the bottom. Now, this is a little humidity rust because one of the elements of Rust 911 is it's mostly water. You just add a couple quarts of the solution and you make almost 5 gallons of actual rust remover material, and you just spray it on. It's pretty passive. You put the little sprayer there, up it goes. This was, you can't believe how that was covered, and it's just incredible. You can see here's the copper lined, it was copper coated, the hydraulic line, all that's left of it is just totally rusted out from the inside, but you can see the little hint of copper here still, and how easy it will be to restore this car now, to fix these spots. See, there's a little rust out there, and there's a little rust out over here. We'll just have to cut those out and make the new pieces. And a lot of this is just residue, a little washing and steel wooling, and then we'll paint this hole underneath, and you can see it's not flash rusting or anything. It's not a problem like you have acid. There's no acid involved here. So, and then all the little nooks and crannies, we got the solution to go inside the tubes. It's another great advantage of Rust 911. You can put the hose right inside the tube, your frame tube that are boxed in, and they'll totally de-rust inside as well. So let's look a little further here. Of course, this is a Caddy convertible, and for the convertible to stiffen the frame, they added this stiffener X member, and you can see it's almost 5/8 of an inch thick right here. It's just absolutely amazing. And this was rusted like you can't believe. Now, you see the drive shaft, we did hit it here, but we didn't get it over here, so you get an idea how heavy that, and we'll probably put a new drive shaft. We're thinking of doing a resto mod on this. We put a new modern Cadillac Escalade motor probably in it, and the new automatic transmissions are like 10 speeds or so. And it'll be a beautiful driver. The motor that's in here, we haven't started it yet, but we'll probably do a video on it. It's a 331 cubic inch Cadillac V8, and I think that thing would start right up. We just haven't got to it yet. It has had the plugs out since 1965 in that garage, and amazingly it didn't get stuck. We turned it over, and you can see all these little nooks and crannies here. They're almost all perfect. There's a little bit. Now, we didn't do anything on the front. You can see the front, which was protected heavily by oil and grease, so it didn't rust as bad. It's just a little surface rust here. We might get that too. We'll probably get these front A-arms and everything later. But the back end of the car here is all done. It's just spectacular. Look out here. Here's the body mounts off of the chassis, and it just cleaned it all up so nicely. Just perfect. So if you haven't heard about Rust 911, look into it. It's a great product. It will do amazing stuff. Now, as far as the cost, it probably is about a $2,500 job to buy all the Rust 911 and hit it with, you know, weeks of spraying to dissolve all that rust. But it saves you hundreds and hundreds of hours of time. And it's something anybody can do. There's no big, great secret of how to do it. Just a lawn sprinkler and some pumps. So that's about it today. This is Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop. Please give us the likes and please subscribe and give us the comments and hit that little notification bell. And remember, we're a metal shaping shop. That's our main thing. But we do stuff like this caddy. And every once in a while, we have to do a lot of rust removal. So that's why we made the rust removal video. Thanks for watching. It's Ray Chalene from Charlton, Massachusetts.